We're going to be reflecting on post-lockdown advocacy on COVID-19. And joining me to do this, someone I refer to as an advocate. I call him a COVID-19 ambassador, and he's going to be talking to us this morning. Okonkwo is a safety professional, and he's the CEO Arrive Alive. It's nice to have you in the building. Ike, good morning.
Thank you, Victor.
You're welcome to Traffic Radio. All right, so from Monday, we've had a gradual ease of the lockdown, right? And from what we see, we are seeing lots of people flooding different corporate organizations. Even the roads, get to certain bus stops, they are very, very busy. Was this expected, Ike Okonkwo?
Of course, it was expected. Of course, you know that even during the lockdown, the pressure to move was high. You saw what the police and the other agencies were doing on the road with Lagosians who are under pressure to move.
Okay.
So it was expected. Even people began to expect that kind of surge. As from last week, Friday, some advocates have started saying, please take it easy on Monday. Movement is not going to be... So people were expecting that it's going to be like that.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the way people flooded the whole place. So is it a license for us to really come out? That's the fact that we're gradually easing the lockdown. Was it a license for everybody to come out?
It was not a license. It's a package full of an overdose of misunderstanding. People do not understand that Lagos state government or federal government has not grabbed COVID-19 and locked up somewhere in a room.
It has not been imprisoned yet.
It has not been in prison yet. In fact, it is we that will put it in prison.
Okay.
You know, the fact is that I would say the government just know that they cannot shoulder the cost for a total lockdown.
Okay.
Hence, they decided to relax, just relax for people to use their brains to tackle movements. It is not a license for you to just go kill yourself.
Right.
People, we should be careful even now.
All right, so and that is the concern for a lot of people now, especially in densely populated places. A state like Lagos, densely populated, right? We're talking of a city that accommodates over 20 million people. And so how could we be able to handle this? What should people do, really, now that we have a gradual easing off phase of the lockdown? How can we really tap into this to ensure that we do not, spike up those numbers again?
We have a job to do. You and I, everybody. We need to make people understand why the government is asking that we stay indoors. We need to understand why we should not be at the marketplaces, why we should not be in the church. The virus is spreading. The figures we have now is even higher than what we had before the lockdown. That tells you that it's getting bad. There are rules that the government has set out, within which
we should really
go about our businesses.
Right.
So we must play by those rules. For instance, talk about vehicle. Transporters taking only about 60% of their total capacity. I think that we should just know why. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be expensive. Movement will be expensive. But look at it. Kekemawa, for instance, they carry 3 ordinarily behind.
Right.
One with the driver. The one with the driver is actually sitting on the driver.
It's just very, very close.
So whatever the driver says, and as they're flying, the
virus
that come out from the mouth is just flying around him, who is the passenger, and those behind. Then those 3 behind are sitting on each other. What is the size of Kakemawa? It's not even up to 1.5 meters.
Right.
If you're talking about
distance,
social distance of 2 meters, the keke itself is not up to 1.5, and you have to have 3 behind.
Right.
So now they said take 2 behind. Even that 2 is too much.
Okay.
But you see, I said sacrifice is what we require here.
Right.
If I now say the Kakemawa driver should carry only one, how much is the cost of his fuel to run from one spot to the other?
So that means the government was a bit considerate in allowing them to take 2.
Definitely.
Okay. And then for public transport, they've told them 60%. So that means the carrying capacity shouldn't be more than 60% of what they used to. And that's why even BRTs and the mass transit buses that we have in Lagos are all restricted to carrying 20 instead of the usual 70 that has been.
You can understand BRT because government has a hand in it.
Okay.
All right. They can go with kind of a level of subsidy for those private comforters.
But let's look at some others. I mean, people have been talking about what's been happening in banks and all of that. What did you notice from Monday up till now, Ike Okonkwo?
I was at the bank yesterday. Yesterday was Wednesday.
Right.
I was at the bank on Tuesday. And it was hell. Social distancing. I think it's been abused even now.
Why do you say that?
Let me give you an example. Let me not mention any bank anyway.
Okay.
But see, I got to the bank. The crowd outside the gate was over 1,000. All right? And then I asked questions. I thought they were all for maybe for ATM use and whatever. But I just was told that, look, I have to go take a number. We have had number up to 200. So the remaining ones now were not writing their names. So after they have dealt with the 200, they then get the number, the people who are putting their names down. I couldn't shoulder it because the cluster was too much. There was nothing like social distancing.
Right.
Nothing at all like that.
So what's the appeal now? Because it appears we're having so much crowd in some of those banks because all their branches are not open.
The branches, if you open the branch, I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. See, ordinarily, what we should be having now is a total lockdown.
Okay, you'll be recommending that?
Total lockdown.
Okay.
It does the cost is enormous.
It's very huge. All right, but let's get back because I know that there's certain measures that government has put in place. Eateries and restaurants to remain open for this period because of the Ramadan, and then they've given them the guidelines just to do takeaways and no in-dining service. That is taking manufacturing to work within certain periods, and then we had even guidelines on how hotels even should remain short and all of that. But it appears when you drive around, some are still perhaps contravening, and that's why government has given some numbers, which they refer to as the whistleblower numbers. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the whole idea is I hope people are taking advantage of these numbers to ensure that if they see any infractions out there, they can report. Are you seeing that at all?
I have. In fact, I drove from Aja to Ikeja this morning. I actually got to Alausa before 7:30, and I took time to drive around. I actually went to park for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
At the city mall. All right. What I saw there was that people were standing. Some, yes, observed good distancing.
Okay.
Those people who are waiting for shops to open.
All right.
Some others were all together. Those people whose responsibility is to open the doors and then do some screening of customers before they enter. They are all together watching.
So,
but there is much work to do
in terms of observing social distancing.
Yes.
Let's talk about the mandatory use of face masks. What have you observed? So far, so good.
So far, in my opinion, more than 80% of people I saw on the road today have face masks on.
Okay, they have it on.
Yes, they have it on.
Okay.
Some persons, even when they are alone in their cars,
They are using
say have it. So
Okay.
that's enough consciousness for me.
Okay, so that means that people are buying into that very well for now, which is good. All right, so let's also hear from you this morning. We're looking at the post-lockdown advocacy on COVID-19. What are some of your observations? What would you recommend from what you see out there? And if you assess what went down yesterday in terms of the operations of some corporate organizations, you can share your experience with us on 0809-912-0777. That's the numbers that you can reach us. Like we do say, by the time you get through, just turn down the volume of that radio so that we can have a very, very good conversation. Now that we're having a gradual ease of the lockdown, talk to me. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very good. Who am I speaking with?
My name is Babatunde.
Calling from where?
Egbeda.
From where?
Egbeda.
Egbeda. All right. So, Babatunde, what's your concern or what have you noticed?
Just there's nothing the government should do than just to lock down again. Lock down again.
So you want a total lockdown again?
Yes, people don't know the virality of this disease. It seems people believe we have a duplicate life. If one goes, you can pick another one. The advocacy they are giving, that is not a death something. This thing is deadly. Unfortunately, we don't take it like that.
Yeah, but Babatunde, we can't say it's a death sentence. So even though it's deadly, but it's not a death sentence. People are recovering.
If you see outside, you will be afraid. I have an office at Uluwu. I wanted to go there on Tuesday. By the time I got to the surrounding of the place, all those people selling spare parts, most of their shops were closed, but all those their hangouts outside, they were more than a multitude. I had to turn back and come back home. Because I don't see how I can get down and even enter my office there. I have to come back. And the same thing, most of the banks I passed through on Okonkwo Road, GT, all this, I don't want to name the banks.
Right.
The crowd there, they were all in clusters. It's not a matter of even distancing. There's no way they can distance because the crowds in front of the banks are more than even the land that's in front
that
of
they have. Okay.
So, for whatever it is, the government is just trying to listen to people saying, okay, it's when you are alive, you can talk of taking money. It's when you are alive, you can talk of eating. A lockdown for 2 weeks cannot kill everybody. No matter, the palliatives cannot get to everybody in Lagos. We are 200 million. Because the government cannot get into every nook and cranny of the town. So we should not be sentimental about issues. That because they lock them down, people are taking money, people make their money each day. So if they cannot go to work on each day, then they will die and all these things. But by the time those who want to commit suicide, they are trying to kill others. Because like people not putting on face masks and all these things.
Right.
It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. We only think the government is joking. And unfortunately, the thing is very real. Very real.
Okay. All right. Babatunde, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. Well, I wouldn't say you should continue to entertain any fears, really.
You see, this is where it comes to mind, the fact that we have not perfected the issue of a cashless society.
Okay.
Because if we had, this is the time for banks to even shut down completely. Just the way they did during the lockdown.
Yeah, but
because you don't need to even pay for items with cash. All those people are seen rushing to the banks. Most of them are just going to collect cash.
Yeah, because some have had issues with their ATMs.
Definitely.
They want to go and rectify that.
And then those people in the markets, you cannot pay them with POS. It must be cash. And that's another factor.
Right.
Cash.
Okay.
Cash is an issue.
Right. So now the government has given guidelines on how markets can operate in Lagos. Food markets, the governor said Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And then the non-food markets should operate on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I see that there's a whole lot of sensitization going on in that direction. But what I wouldn't know, because I've not been to any market recently, are they observing social distancing in those areas?
No.
You've noticed that?
No. I took time out on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, to patrol around the markets around Aja. There is nothing like social distance.
Were they using face masks?
Yeah, a lot of people were using face masks.
Okay.
Most others were not. But even then, you will see, for instance, those meat sellers, for instance, you will see that their shades are in cluster as well. The distance between one meat seller and the other is not more than 1 foot. So those people who are buying from them in line are in clusters, because the customer of Mr. Seller A and the customer of Mr. Seller B are at very close range.
Right. Okay, so they're not observing that at all.
They are not observing at all. That is, I don't have issue with the structure that the government has put in place, but I have issues with the fact that they are not observing social distance.
0809-912-0777. What's your take, and how do you think we can really deal with this post-lockdown? Hello there, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Victor.
Who am I speaking with?
Yeah, this is Yemi.
Yeah.
From Abulegba.
Hey, Yemi from Abulegba. All right, so Yemi, this is the post-lockdown assessment we're doing right now. How have you seen things so far so good in 4 days?
Okay, so first of all, let me be sincere with you. This country, the problem we are having in this country is our law enforcement and our judiciary.
Why do you say that?
Fine. My brother just said total lockdown. Yes, we support it, but can our law enforcement do total lockdown? That's the question.
Okay, can they really enforce a total lockdown?
Yes. You see, let me be sincere with you, Victor. I called you sometimes ago and I was telling you about this law enforcement along the Abuja Expressway. They are blocking the road and collecting money from the public transport. See, let me tell you, if our law enforcement, they can enforce this law, that nobody is above the law, and you see that this thing will go away. But in as much as our law enforcement are still on the road, collecting money from people, there's no way that you can have total lockdown. And that's number one. So why I say judiciary, we all of us know what happened to Funka Akindele, and let me be sincere with you, Funka Akindele is not the only one person, it's not the only person that committed that crime. Well, I know that the following week, this Borno governor death of the king, we see how many kind of people that were present there. That's why some people ask the question. This law of the thing is it really affecting some people and separating some people?
So you're suggesting that we're having some selective implementation of the law?
Yes, that's the Victor. Let me tell ourselves in this country. Okay, all these other people, they will commit the same crime.
Okay, now, I don't want you to give it any coloration. So you say some people violate the law and perhaps they are let free, and others.
Yes, that's it. If they can make it so that anybody that committed that offense, let everybody for that punishment. We should not say this person is special and this person is not special.
Okay, all right. We've taken note of that. Thank you very much, Yemi. Yemi is concerned that law enforcement, even though we call for a total lockdown, we might not be able to get that. Okonkwo. Let's take this call first. Hello there. Good morning. Oh, quite unfortunate. We might not be able to entertain that call. The line is very, very poor, so we'll try and see if we can reconnect with you and get it much clearer. 0809-912-0777. We're looking at post-lockdown advocacy here, and we're still making reference to the battle against COVID-19. Talk to me. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Victor.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Stephen calling you from Lagos.
Stephen from Lagos. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think what government is doing is because of us.
Okay.
And which is good. If they lock us down, if they don't want us to contact virus, which some people are going out, they don't use the mask. True. I used to see some people and saw them. They don't use it. But my thought, some people can't avoid 200 naira to buy this.
Okay.
But that's not the issue. Even if you don't have money to buy, you have handkerchief in your house that you can just, maybe you tie it. If someone accuses you on the road or stop you, I don't have money to buy this. If you can buy for me, I will use. But people in this country, if I have money, I would like to settle my family, and other person is not concerned, which is not supposed to be. And the reason why is that me that I'm settling my family too. Maybe I'm thinking of what I have. If this one finish now, where will I get another one?
Right.
But now, we cannot say government should be providing this thing for us, because even if government do it, that go and share it, people will still be selling it. They won't share it. They will be selling it. But what I will say is that people should please comply with this, our government, because I understand this lockdown is not easy. For this 1 month, I'm at home. I'm not a salary person. I don't earn
so it's been very, very challenging.
You know, but there's nothing I can do.
Okay.
There's nothing I can do, you know.
All right, Stephen.
So, yeah, please, they should just let these people know what they can do. Because if they should lock us down again, there will be problem with hunger.
Okay, all right,
Hunger.
Stephen. All right, I'm hoping that we don't go in that direction anymore. But thank you so much for your call. All right, but let me just say this. In some countries, the numbers in terms of fatalities are really, really high. Just in 24 hours alone in Brazil, for instance, they had over 600 deaths. And this is a country that has been very reluctant on issuing any form of lockdown. So I hear the president of that country now is considering going that direction. In the United Kingdom, the death rates are risen over 30,000, making them the highest in Europe right now. So that tells you something. But let's still get back here. It appears some of us are still taking it with levity, Ike Okonkwo. So you said it that it appears some people do not really understand the way the virus works and the importance of these measures government is putting in place. What do you think?
Victor, the only agenda of this pandemic is to harvest death. And it has the capacity to do so. Thankfully, the war has a weakness. And that weakness, which the government is now saying we should not feed, is social distancing. And in fact, lockdown.
Okay.
Lockdown, that's to break the chain of our contacts. That is the only way. But now we have eased the lockdown, guidedly, okay?
Right.
What is difficult in abiding by the instruction of the authorities? What's difficult in it? No, in terms of war, nobody tells the deaf that the war is on. No? Nobody.
That's very true.
Yes. So because what we are seeing now, have you not seen people standing out and saying there's nothing like coronavirus?
Yeah, we heard that. In fact, even on social media, you see people saying...
Do you imagine that?
People saying that government just want to make money. And I'm just wondering the connection of where government is making money, or perhaps they are losing money by battling COVID-19. All right, but let me just run you through some of the measures that have been put in place. We've told you, offices can open from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Manufacturing and construction to operate between the hours of 9 to 6 p.m. All right. Hotels to remain closed till further notice, except those used by government to accommodate the frontline workers, talking about their health personnel, and those used for quarantine and isolation services. All schools remain closed for now until such schools must put in place learning that can be done online. So if you have that going on right now, which is still very much in tune with government's recommendations, all places of worship, both formal and informal, are to remain closed for any form of assemblage. Let's talk about that, really, because some people do not really understand the essence of that. And I've been hearing some notable people asking reasons why markets are open and places of worship are not open. Is there any connection?
You want me to talk about that?
Is there any connection?
Anyway, I want to say this. Somebody asked a question. I said, let us find out if the nation can do with locking down the markets for 2 weeks. And then let us also find out if the nation can do with shutting down mosques and churches for 2 weeks.
And then you now look at the effect of that.
The answer will be your guide. The point is that market being opened is of necessity.
Right.
Okay?
Because people must feed.
Yes. For the churches and mosques, there are alternatives. Because you can commit with your God
from your house.
From the house.
Okay. So you can get a spiritual food from home, right?
Correct.
It's not all the time that you have to go to the place of assemblage at the worship center for you to get the spiritual food.
Correct.
Right? So you can do that from home, even from your office. I can do that from my office, right?
Correct.
All right. But the markets are needed to get the food that keeps us.
Of course.
All right. Let's take some more calls. 08099120777. This morning we're looking at the post-lockdown advocacy. Hello there. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning.
This is Dakpo.
Dakpo, one of our regular callers. Dakpo, how are you doing?
Fine.
Good.
Yes. I did not start the program, but I followed midway.
Okay.
Now my perspective. You see, this is an opportunity for all of us to reappraise and readdress our way of living. In the first instance, the government, the people, we have to look at it collectively. Now, this is an opportunity for the government to look at some major areas of our lives to address.
Okay.
One, the health facility. Two, the social understanding of people and government. What do I mean? You see, there is a total disconnect between the people and governance in understanding the policies of the government. For instance, we are not having enough enlightenment. However, on the part of the people, we have people that are so very hard in understanding why things are done in their favor. I've had calls to personally educate people on the need to comply with the directives of the government. And for God's sake, what I'm getting in response is so difficult to even understand.
So they don't even understand the reason for some of these guidelines.
For instance, in my own home, I had to also banish my brother-in-law from coming because I see him all around everywhere, and he doesn't understand after so much education. So if homes can appreciate knowing the fact that this is not sentiment, it is not about this is my brother, it is not about this is my mother. Put sentiment aside, appreciate this thing. And when we look at it, God has given us the opportunity of what is happening in foreign land.
Right.
Now, talking about palliatives, people say so much, give so much criticisms about the palliatives. Yes, it is not satisfactory, but not that it is not being done. I make comparison between Nigeria and foreign countries.
Right.
For God's sake, if they study the context of the foreign country, is it everybody that is being given? Have we even addressed our mind to the number of the unemployed population? So if everybody is saying we are going out for survival, the question is this: prior to COVID, were you employed at all that you now want to go out? That is it.
Okay.
Now, somebody made contribution about the judiciary and referred to the case of Akindele.
Yes.
I'm very sorry. I am also involved in a sister case, and that is the other people that appeared in that party. But they should be careful in just casting aspersions.
Right.
Because the context in which that case was handled, there's a variation between the two. So people must know what the law is saying. How is it interpreted? How is it applied? Not just making general comments. Let me allow others. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dakpo. All right, we're going to go on a short break right now. And when we return, we'll be hitting the finish line on your side mirror this morning. It's an extended version of the program, but just keep it locked on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Good morning.
I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful.
So luckily you came in at the nick of time. This is Biodun from Lekki, right?
Yes, I've been trying to reach the hotline.
Okay. Yes.
Only those whose appointed time has come will die.
Only those what? You need to speak up a bit.
only those whose appointed time has come that will die.
Only those whose appointed time has come will die.
Yes, from Advocacy, the general overseer from the GTC.
Okay.
Like, some persons are not using their face mask. And supermarkets, here it's free for them to make use of it. So they can't tell me that we don't have money to buy. Even if you don't have money at some supermarkets here, it's free. When you just look into the mall, they share the face mask free, of charge. So people risking their lives. I think this is the government. They are really trying. If you ask me, Vicky,
right?
But where personal responsibility comes in, if you ask me.
Okay.
No wonder I once right there in Umoya, there about a 22-year-old Chiso was stabbed to death by a security guard. I don't know, maybe you heard the story.
Right.
All of the same face mask. I think God will help us in this country in Jesus' name. And secondly, I did say that there should be time adjustments. I don't know, maybe you could remember, I said we should take it to 12 midnight.
That's for the curfew in Lagos.
You see what I'm saying? People are sleeping.
On the road. Okay, all right. That's very, very valid. Thank you so much, Biodun, for bringing that to our attention. That was a source of concern, too, when the issue of coffee was talked about. Let's see what can be done, especially the areas that concern the journalists. All right, so let's begin to take this home this morning. Ike Okonkwo, what's your message to our people?
First of all, let me just call back to Dapo.
Okay.
To the last caller.
Yes.
He talked about advocacy. We need to hit the road with advocacy. People must know why the government is asking them to observe social distancing.
Okay.
Unless they understand why, we will not get them to comply the way we want them. Estates, they hold meetings, they have access to their members. We should use those lines to talk to people. Our school children, they are all engaged in online classes every day. Mm-hmm. So the school authorities should also use those media to talk to the children as well, because they too can be instruments.
Right.
The churches, we don't go to church, but we go to the churches online on Sundays. That avenue should also be used to educate the people on the need to respect the government directives.
Okay.
Finally, I would like to say that if we do not feed coronavirus, it will die of hunger. So why not let us follow the instructions of the authorities?
All right, then. Those are very, very positive words there. So, Ike Okonkwo, let me say a very big thank you to you for coming on the program this morning to enlighten us, and we really appreciate this. Let's hope that people can adhere to this and take this to the next level. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Victor.
Okay, so Ike Okonkwo is a safety professional, but more than that, he's an advocate against COVID-19, and he's been here to talk to us this morning. We have some whistleblower numbers which you can call. Their hotlines 090-1051-3197. That's 090-1051-3197. And then you also have the other one, which ends with 98, and then the last one 99. If you have any or you see any infractions, you can report that to government using those numbers.